My mom has always been kind of intense, protective, emotional, a little dramatic, but she's always had my back, no matter what. So when I told her I was going to propose to my girlfriend, Elise, I expected a huge hug and tears of joy. Instead, she went quiet. Dead quiet. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Please don't marry her." I laughed at first, thought she was joking, but then she said it again, firmer. "Don't marry her, Nathan. Trust me, you don't know what you're getting into." I asked her what she meant, if she thought Elise was cheating, or lying, or using me, but she just shook her head and said, "I can't explain. I just know she's wrong for you." It made no sense. Elise was wonderful, smart, warm, funny. My mom had always liked her, or at least pretended to. They'd gone shopping together, had lunch, swapped recipes, and now she was acting like Elise was a ticking time bomb. I asked again, desperate for logic, but all she said was, "There's more to her than you realize, and I can't be the one to tell you." I was furious. I didn't talk to my mom for a week after that. Elise comforted me, said maybe my mom just had trouble letting go, that she was projecting, that some parents don't know how to be happy for their children. I believed her. We got engaged 3 months later. Mom didn't come to the engagement party, didn't call, didn't send a card. Nothing. My dad tried to smooth it over. Said she was going through a hard time, that she still loved me, that she just needed space. But deep down, I felt something had snapped between us. I was angry, hurt. But I refused to let her ruin what Elise and I had. The wedding was small, intimate. Elise looked stunning. I cried when she walked down the aisle. It felt perfect. Except for the empty seat in the second row. The one that should have held my mom. After the honeymoon, we moved into a cozy little place just outside the city. Life felt normal again. Until I got a call one night from my aunt, my mom's sister. She said, "Nathan, I think you need to come over. Your mom's not doing well, and there's something you deserve to know about Elise." I asked what she meant, and she hesitated. Then she said a sentence that shattered my entire world. "Elise wasn't just your girlfriend. She was your mom's secret." I drove to my aunt's house that night in a daze. I couldn't stop repeating those words. She was your mom's secret. What did that even mean? When I got there, Aunt Margie looked nervous, like she'd been waiting years to unburden something too heavy to carry anymore. "She'll never forgive me for telling you," she said. But you have a right to know." She poured me tea like it was a normal conversation, then sat across from me, hands shaking slightly. "Your mom. She had a whole life before you were born. Things she kept even from your dad. I only know because I was there." "What does this have to do with Elise?" Aunt Margie hesitated. Then, "Your mom had a daughter, when she was 17, before she met your father." I froze. She got pregnant by an older man, someone she worked for during a summer job. It was a mess. He was married, had a family. Your grandparents made her give the baby up, quietly. No one at school even knew she was gone for a few months. It was all swept under the rug. I blinked, struggling to keep up. "She had a daughter?" "Yes," she said. "And your mom never talked about it again. Not once. She told me she never wanted to look for her, that it would only bring pain." I leaned back in my chair, dizzy. "And Elise?" Aunt Margie nodded painfully. "She's that daughter." I laughed. I actually laughed, because the idea was insane. "There's no way," I said. "I would have known. Elise would have told me. She was adopted, yeah, but she never met her birth mom. She said the records were sealed, that she tried to find out but hit dead ends." Aunt Margie nodded again. "Your mom told me the same, that she thought she'd never have to face it. But then she met Elise. At your graduation, I think. She knew the second she saw her. Said she looked like the baby she gave up. Same eyes, same laugh. I stood up, pacing. You're telling me my wife is my mom's daughter? Yes. So that makes her your half-sister. I nearly collapsed. Aunt Margie reached for my arm. Your mom didn't tell you because she was terrified. Not just about what it would mean for you, but for herself. She buried that part of her life so deep, Nathan. And suddenly it was sitting at your dinner table. My mind was spinning. My stomach churned. This couldn't be real. And Elise, she couldn't have known either. Could she? I needed answers. Desperately. So I drove straight home, walked through the front door, and stared at the woman I had promised to spend my life with. Elise, I said, my voice hollow, I need you to tell me everything you know about your birth parents. Now. Elise froze. She was sitting on the couch with her laptop, probably answering emails, and the moment she saw my face, pale, shaking, she knew something was wrong. Elise, I repeated, please, I need the truth. Who? Are your real parents? She blinked. Nathan, I told you, I was adopted. I don't know. No. I stepped forward. I mean your birth mother. Did you ever find anything? A name? A photo? A lead? Anything? She stood up, hands trembling. Why are you asking me this? Because I just talked to my aunt, and she told me something that doesn't feel real, but she swears it's the truth. Elise stared at me. Slowly, cautiously she said, What did she say? That you're my mom's daughter, that she had a baby at 17 and gave her up, that you're her. Her knees buckled. She sat down hard, silent. And then she started crying. Not soft tears. Gut-wrenching sobs. I didn't know, she whispered. Nathan, I didn't know until a few months ago. I froze. You knew? She nodded, her face buried in her hands. I didn't mean to find out. I was cleaning the attic at your parents' house, looking through old photo albums, and I found a letter, tucked behind one of the books. She reached for her phone and opened her notes app. I transcribed it. I didn't want to forget. Then she read aloud. To my daughter, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're happy, if you're safe. I was 17 and scared and alone. Giving you up was the hardest thing I've ever done, and not a day goes by that I don't wonder who you became. If you ever read this, I'm sorry. I hope one day you'll forgive me. I thought it was beautiful, Elise whispered. But then I saw the date. It was a few months before I was born, and I realized I'd never told your mom my birth date. She paused. I started to wonder, so I requested a DNA test, just for clarity. One of those online kits. I never expected a match. But you got one, I said, numb. She nodded. Your cousin. Amy. I sat down, heart pounding. I reached out anonymously. Asked if she had family that had given a child up. She said yes, her aunt, Mary. Your mum. I wanted to scream, or cry, or vomit. You should have told me. I was going to, she whispered. But I was scared. I thought you'd hate me, that you'd feel disgusted. I didn't know what it made us. I didn't want it to be real. So, instead you married me? I loved you, she said, voice breaking. I still do. I sat in silence for what felt like hours. Half siblings, married, in love. And now, nothing made sense anymore. What do we even do now? I asked, barely. Audible. Elise didn't have an answer. Because how do you unlove someone when the whole world says you're not supposed to? For days, I couldn't look at Elise the same way. Not because I didn't love her, but because now every glance, every touch came with the crushing knowledge of what we were. Half siblings. She was still the woman I married, still the person I trusted most. But now she was also my mother's daughter, and I didn't know how to reconcile the two. I stopped going to work, stopped answering calls. I just Shut down. My dad came over, confused by the silence. And when I finally told him the truth, he sat down, pale and trembling. I always thought your mom had secrets, he said, but I never imagined this. He didn't cry, didn't get angry. He just looked hollow. She should have told you, he whispered. Both of you. But she hadn't. When I finally saw my mom again, it wasn't anger I felt. It was grief. You let me marry her, I said quietly. Why? She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Because I hoped I was wrong. Because when I realized who she was, you already loved her. And I couldn't take that away from you. You let me fall. In love with my sister, she was never supposed to come back into my life. I thought I buried that part of me. But then I saw her, and I knew. I shook my head. You should have stopped it. She nodded. I know. There wasn't anything else to say. Back home, Elise was packing a bag. I think I should go for a while, she said. This isn't something we can ignore, and I don't want you to feel trapped. But as I watched her move around the room, I realized something terrifying. I didn't want her to go. Not because I was in denial, not because I wanted to pretend this never happened, but because my heart still loved her. And that was the most horrifying part of all. I don't know what this makes us, I told her. I don't know if we should get an annulment, or therapy, or run away and never tell anyone. She smiled tearfully. I think we need time, and space, and maybe answers from professionals. We agreed to separate. For now. No dramatic goodbye, no promises, just space. We talked to a counselor, privately, then together. We explored what the law said, and what our hearts felt. We dug through the wreckage of our history, trying to figure out if any of it could be salvaged. The world sees things in black and white. But love lives in the gray. It's been 6 months. We're not living together, not romantically involved. But we talk. We care. We're trying to find a way to rewrite the ending of our story. Maybe we'll stay siblings. Maybe we'll drift apart. Or maybe one day, we'll find a version of love that fits the truth. All I know is this. Sometimes, the people you're told to stay away from are the ones your heart clings to the hardest. And sometimes, when your mom warns you about her, she's really warning you about herself.